Hello and welcome to another Figuring Out Japan video. We specialize in Japanese figurines and collectibles, but we do also deal with other collectibles such as Lego, and in this case we will be looking at some vintage Lego Pirate, and in particular this set, which is set 6274, the Caribbean Clipper. So please check out the description of this video for more details about us, and there's also going to be an analysis about inflation adjusted prices of Lego per piece from then and now, so you compare how expensive these sets were compared in today's dollars. And we will also put links to the other vintage Lego Pirate sets that we have done, including a YouTube first Skull's Eye schooner, and also the sets that you can actually see in the background. Now, if you do want to use this video for something, just send us a message and the answer will almost certainly be a yes. So, this set is pretty important in the Lego world because it was part of the very first Lego Pirate series, which was released in 1989. It was, and also still is, the only blue coat ship that was ever made. The Lego have brought back in the 2015 series the blue coats, but they didn't get a ship. So this is still the only blue coat Lego ship. And by my count, there's only been 3 Imperial Soldier ships anyway. There was one for the red coats, which was released a couple of years after this, and then there was a really, really big one in 2010, which had over 1,600 pieces. So the Imperial Soldiers have never really had a lot of artillery to sort of deal with in that department. But this was the largest Lego soldier ship right up for 21 years until 2010, and is still pretty scarce for the reasons that I said. Now, for that reason, this set is actually quite expensive. It does sell on eBay for around 200 plus. But I actually got this one for about $115. It was 100% complete. It didn't have the instructional manuals. So if you are patient, you can get one. But it's not expensive because it has a lot of pieces or because it's big. It's expensive for the reasons that I was talking about just before. So in terms of this ship, it has just under 400 pieces, and I'll put all the specs and things in the description. But as I'm sort of showing you what it is, there's a couple of things I'll mention how I've just altered things from the instructions. Firstly, the anchor is meant to come through this hole, which I'm kind of glad to see, because I always wondered what that hole is for, because it sort of looks like a cannon hole, but Lego really never really used it as a cannon hole. But here, they're showing it for an anchor. So the reason why I didn't feed it through there is because the anchor is too big to fit through. So if you wanted to flip the ship around and display it that way, then you would need to untie it and then retie it. So I just have it over the top. The other thing is the sails. I haven't put it through some of the holes, and the reason why I've done that is because these are actually a little bit shorter than the sails, and that's deliberate because it should make the sails sort of look puffy, as if they're blowing in the wind, in theory. But what they tend to do is they kind of go up and then they sort of dip back in the middle, and so you kind of get this wavy pattern. And the same thing especially happens on the front sail. Those of you who have Lego ships will know, this really sort of wavers very badly over time. So if I tied this, as you can see, it starts to crease there. So what I've decided to do, and this is really the first time I'm trying it, is just having it like just drooping down, and yeah, at least that way, hopefully over time it will preserve better. And you might say, yeah, but for a display it looks a bit silly. Well, maybe, I don't know. But especially in summer, it's incredibly hot here in Japan at the moment. You have the windows open, you have a nice breeze through it, sort of flaps in the breeze, so it kind of actually looks like a real sort of ship blowing in the wind. The other changes I made, just purely because I had some extra pieces, was I added this little piece on the top, this little yellow piece, and I also added this piece with the, I think it's a Lego lightsaber actually, stuck at the bottom, so they're not meant to be there in the actual set, but it is complete. And everything you see here, except for those couple of pieces I just mentioned are what you get with this set. So I might now, in terms of, like I've sort of shown you, hopefully, just while I'm talking, what the set actually has and includes and all that sort of stuff. In terms of, things I like and don't like about this ship, I think the purpose of this ship is it's sort of like a cheap Lego ship. And by that I mean, Lego was very expensive. I wanted these sets really bad when I was young, but my parents just couldn't afford it. So I think what Lego said is, okay, we've got our big Lego pirate ship, but some people can't afford that, but they still want a Lego ship. So let's make a smaller one that people can afford. So let's make one that actually looks like a proper Lego ship, but isn't that expensive. And I'm only guessing here, but I think that's what they did. Because, it does look like a proper Lego ship, but it just seems to be a bit empty to me. There's just a lot that just seems to be missing. Like, for example, the side here has no windows, and the inside of the ship has absolutely nothing. There's no detail, there's no floor, there's no, there's just no detail in there. Even the top of the ship, it's usually that part's sort of nice and built up and elaborate. There's really, there's just sort of a bit of a railing, and even this part, like, it's not really that built up, which is why I sort of wanted to add that there. And even this mast, like, it's got these things that move, but there's no point to them moving because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't really change anything. Same with that one. So, why didn't they add an extra mast or that sort of thing? I think just to save costs. And it's not really a complaint. I mean, that makes perfect sense to me, to be honest, that they've gone and done that. And it still does, though, look like, I feel like they've just tried to tick the boxes, but they have ticked the boxes. It is a Lego Pirate Series ship, and it does look like a proper ship, and it still does look nice. It still looks like a nice soldier ship and that sort of thing. So, but just be aware that it doesn't have a great deal of pieces. There were no nice surprises that I found building this, going, oh, I didn't realize it did this or it had this. Yeah, I mean, even here, like, no little flame for the... Sorry, that's gone really dark. So, yeah. That's just my personal opinion with that. Also, the minifigs, you do get a governor, and he only appeared in this set and also the Eldorado Fortress, although the Eldorado Fortress one had, like, a red ribbon. So he's quite rare. He was only in 2 sets. And then you get 3 of these guys. Now these guys are unique because they're only in this set. Because usually you get the governor, he's the top rank. Then there's the sergeant, which looks like that guy there. You can see he's got the yellow epaulettes, triangular hat, and the beard and stuff. And then you've got the standard soldiers, which look like that. Whereas these guys, they kind of look like a standard soldier, but they have a triangular hat. And they also have no backpack. Now I'm guessing they don't have a backpack because they're on the ship, so in theory they should be able to store their supplies there. And the triangular hats, I don't know, makes them look a little more important, so maybe they're a rank slightly above these guys. But anyway, they don't appear in any of the other sets with triangular hats. And you get 3 of them. I reckon they probably should have included maybe a 5th. It's not worth complaining about, but you've got a guy steering, the governor's just going to stand there and look important, a guy up in the crow's nest, another guy here, then you could have both manning the cannons, or you could add a guy like shooting here, or, a guy guarding the chest. So, yeah, they could have been a little bit more generous. As a comparison, the Saber Island had 3 minifigures, and that set only had about 90, I think it was 92 pieces. So this one, nearly 400 pieces, 4 minifigs. I wanted to make this video short, so I'm rushing through these. But things that I do like about this is I like how the cannon doors actually open from the bottom. I could be wrong, but that might be the only set that actually does this. Usually they're from the top. One, it doesn't get in the way at the top if they're shooting and things like that. And secondly, it just gives the ship a bit more depth. It just makes it look a little bit higher and taller. So I quite like that feature. Also, I wouldn't say it's necessarily good or bad, but it's different. I like how the rope, ladder actually comes from, the bottom. In the inside of the ship. Jeez, that's dark. And And yeah, as I said, I think that's the only ship that actually does this. Usually, as you can see the clips on this side, they have this around 90 degrees and they come from either side. So I like that just because it's different. And it also, you know, the design of this ship, obviously, like, I kind of like the aesthetics of it, actually. I mean, how it just sort of looks like it's powering forward because you've got the big mast and stuff on the front. And, you know, even here, at least you got something here. But it sort of looks like it's, because there's more at the front, it sort of looks like it's pushing forward. And as I said, if you don't clip these in and you have a nice breeze, it sort of adds to that effect. And even though from the side, you know, it does look a little bit bare. I mean, it doesn't look so much as bare because I got things in the background. But, you know, from the front, this actually does look, you know, it sort of does look like a proper Lego ship. It's pretty tall, that front mast, actually. And from the back, it equally, in fact, it probably even looks better from the back, which was how they actually showed it in the manuals, in the catalog. So sorry, that's really dark. But you know, it looks quite nice from the back as well. And you know, you've even got these flaps. Again, I think that's unique to this ship. I guess that's for like, you know, chucking out rubbish or if there's water in the ship and that sort of thing from playability perspective. No winch on the anchor as well, like no little sort of winder. You've got to just, sorry, there is a winch. There's no winder, but you just got to use your fingers to wind that in and out. But it does wind in and out. The cannons have wheels on them, so they can move around as well. You've got cannons in the holders. So, look, overall, I think this is a nice set. It looks nice. But yeah, just don't, you know, as I said, I think it's expensive because of its historical kind of importance and that there aren't that many Imperial Soldier ships and things around, which is, you know, put the price up over time. So, you know, if you do fork out a lot of money for this, don't expect to get a lot of pieces or something that's really big. But I quite like the size. Some of the pirate ships are almost too big. But this one, it's nice to display. It does go well with a lot of the other sets. And, you know, overall, I think it's you know, a nice set. If you can get it, you know, affordable enough, you know, why not? They could have added a few more things, like even a boat. This didn't come with this set. You know, they could, actually, this came on here, this little clip, so they could have like tied a little boat to it or something just to add to it. But, you know, as I said, it does tick the boxes, it does look good, and, you know, if you can get it cheap enough, it's a nice one to add to your collection. Please feel free to add comments and what you think, and yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you're fortunate enough to add this great Lego ship to your collection. Thank you very much.